You know those times when you mess up your own success. You've prepared, made a good plan, but when it's time to execute, when it's time to make it, you start doubting yourself or do something unexpected. We've all been there. It's part of trading for everyone. But the difference between successful traders and all the rest is knowing these emotional issues and handle it well. Journal your emotional roller coaster. It's the only way to become a successful trader. Hey there, Tamir from Fibonacci-Traders.com here with the daily market recap. Like, subscribe, share with friends, and without any further ado, let's see the charts. So let's see what SPY and Friends brought us today. September 25th, 2023. We are just a step away from Q4 of 2023. What do you think will happen during Q4? Are we going to crash towards this gap at the 396 or will we see new all-time highs? Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, all we need to do, follow price, use levels and trend lines as our guide for future price action. 432 from support now becomes resistance. Another day or two above it, and we're heading towards this gap at the 432, breaking below the 427, and we're heading towards the 423 gap. QQQ still holding 3 consecutive days, moving sideways. 355 is holding, breaking down and under, and in my opinion we are heading towards the 333 gap. Another day be above 361, and this gap will get filled. We had this double top scenario as we talked about few days back, 2 weeks back. We talked about this double top scenario of this purple trend line, and here we are. Double top, validated perfectly. Now all we need to do is sit and wait to see, are we going to see bearish continuation towards the 335 and the 333 gap, or bulls, where are you? Can you make a bounce towards this gap and towards the 366? For now, sit on hands and wait for price to show you the way. Dow Jones, now the 340 from support. Friday resistance, today didn't even touch it. 336 to the downside is the next support. Below it we are heading towards the 331. Bounce back above the 341, and we are heading towards this purple trend line that was a very important area of support since March. Held the higher lows until it broke to the downside previous Thursday, and now if bulls wants to gain their power back before Q4, they need a weekly close above 346. Can they do it? What do you think? IWM, if you follow me on Twitter and you saw previous videos in the past few weeks or so, you know this scenario, and this scenario got validated. Now this gap at the 176 got filled, because we know, and it's not surprising, more than 85% of all gaps will get filled throughout time, whether they are to the upside or to the downside. Now 176 needs to hold. Let's see if we can bounce towards the 180 area. We can take Fibonacci once again, swing low, swing high. 177 is the resistance, 172 is the next support. Bitcoin still moving sideways, all crypto land, nothing much since middle of August, basically moving sideways. Ethereum, same thing, one time below the 1600, one time above it, but overall we are in a downtrend. Oil, consolidation, sideways move, very healthy after this bull run. 89 needs to hold, otherwise we are heading towards the 86. Long continuation above 91 towards the 92.50. Above the 92.50 we are heading towards the 103 area. SOXX, bulls are trying to hold with all they have, the 461.70 area. Below it, first we have this gap at the 461.40. Below this area, we're heading towards the 458. And then we have this gap at the 433. KRE trying to bounce off the 40.45, which is the 618 Fibonacci retracement. But as long as price is below this purple trend line, no need to guess. We are in a downtrend. Apple holding still very nice. Bulls are defending the 173.40 because they know below it we are heading towards the 170.60, and then this gap to the downside 2 days above the 178, and in my opinion this gap will get filled and 182 will be the next resistance. Amazon moving sideways 3 days. Bulls are defending the 130 area, 129. Below it we are heading towards the 120. Below 120 you have this yellow trend line that shows us the way towards the 107. Above 132.40 we are heading to close this gap, and the 135.40 will become the next major resistance. Only by looking left we can see it was resistance over here, resistance over here. So by the natural things of price action, this will become a very tough resistance. Google trying to bounce back above the 131 area. Very tough area of resistance, as you can see over here, since July, middle of July until end of August. It was a very tough resistance area. Now we have also a gap over here at the 133.60. Let's see where Google is heading. For now, nothing much. Stay on the sidelines. We don't have a real trend on Google. Nvidia, purple trend line, and overall in general trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. This purple trend line was a very important area of support until it broke last Wednesday. Now it will become a very tough resistance. We can be a little bit more accurate, but we don't need to be very accurate because it's technical analysis. It's not rocket science. Trend lines gives us an area of support, 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 support. Not surprising. 3 consecutive days resistance. Follow price, use trend lines and Fibonacci levels as your guide for future price action, which means if you follow price and you know how it acts and reacts to trend lines and to the Fibonacci levels, you can with high probability know where price is heading, and then you can manage your risk more efficiently. If you like what you see or what you hear on this educational video, hit a like, subscribe. It takes 1 second and it will be much appreciated. Thank you very much. Meta still moving sideways. 293 holding as support. It was a very important level of support over here, over here. Now trying to bounce back above the 303. Let's see. For now, nothing much on Meta. Long continuation, in my opinion, only above 304 towards the 313. Above it, we are heading towards 326. Tesla, trend lines, support, support, support. Now, resistance. But if we look a little bit left, we can see downtrend, doji below the trend line, and then bulls came with a gap up, bounce back above this purple trend line. Let's see if this price action can resemble this price action. Doji, bounce above. Doji. Now let's see if bulls can copy paste this price action. AMD, you know this red trend line, you know this price action because you follow me on Twitter and you saw previous videos. in the past few weeks, and we said once AMD will break below this white trend line, this white trend line goes way back to October of 2022, 1 year of support until it broke to the downside, and then we said, you're more than welcome to check previous videos in the past few weeks. We're heading towards this red trend line, and here we are. Touch this red trend line, bounce. Now let's see if we can get a close above 98.50, and then we are heading towards this gap over here. A weekly close above 100, and we are heading back up towards this red trend line. But I'm waiting for a weekly close above this red channel, and then Fibonacci traders will start taking long on AMD. No rush. Microsoft below the 318 from support now becomes resistance. 311.80 needs to hold. Otherwise, we are heading way south towards the 304, 294. And don't forget, more than 80% of all gaps will get filled throughout time. When you see a gap, embrace. It's like a magnet for price action. Shopify continuing south. Now all this area that was the February highs became from resistance, support over here, support over here, now resistance. Let's see where Shopify is heading. We can take Fibonacci, no need to guess. Swing low, swing high. Now we need to take it to the downside. 54.90 is the resistance. 51.30 is the support. We can take it also from here to be a little bit more accurate. Below 51.20, and we are heading to close this gap over here. Netflix, you know all these lines. We said Netflix broke below this red trend line. We're heading towards this purple trend line. Friday held, today held with an inside doji. Now, let's see, can we get some kind of a dead cat bounce towards the 397? Or are we going continuation sliding on this purple trend line? If we close below this purple trend line, we're heading straight towards this 341.80 gap. The same price action we got over here. To the upside, we can get a mirror price action, but this time to the downside. So hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like, subscribe, share with friends, will be much appreciated. Until the next video, stay safe.